There you go.
All right, Annie, go somewhere. Go somewhere where you can see if you can turn up the sound and see if you can hear me. Yep, I know. I have to be live so we can find out if we can hear you or not. Okay. All right. So yeah, I can hear it. Okay, that's good. Hello out there in TV land. We'll be starting in just a moment. So hang tight. Thank you for joining us out there in TV land. Hopefully you can see everybody. So okay. Give everybody a couple.
Are you getting that on the TV line?
No, it's loaded up there though.
Let's see.
Part of it is part of maybe the corner.
Okay.
So,
Says 3 watching now.
okay.
So just so you know.
Well, there's somebody else just pulled in. So
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I remember when he was a little kid like that.
So how long are the grandparents all staying?
We leave tomorrow,
You're leaving tomorrow?
they leave
They're leaving tomorrow?
Monday.
Yeah.
We would travel at 6. Because he's still in. So I have to figure out where I am.
Yeah. Now, did you go, come from Colorado?
No, we went to Minnesota
Went to
because
Minnesota.
graduation.
Okay.
Then here and then home and then back. to Cassie's graduation.
I thought it kind of said, somebody said on Sunday, said you were traveling across the state. I'm going, made me think that you were doing, had been traveling across Minnesota or something. I was like, somebody made me think that you were down in Minnesota.
Do you guys want presents upstairs or down?
Probably down. Yeah. Thanks, Jennifer.
Emma, is that you?
No, no, she just woke up.
You messed that up. You can pick out where you guys want to sit.
Just woke up. No.
Right.
Yep. Yeah.
Anybody else out there? Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
You want to
Congratulations.
either turn off the projector or just, yeah, maybe both. Yeah,
Which one is the button for the projector she wants to?
there you go. If you don't stop the other thing, the sound will keep playing. So there you go. Okay. I think we'll go ahead and, oh, wait a minute. Nobody agreed to this.
So what?
No, you said you could take pictures, but I didn't say you could take pictures of me. There's a huge difference. So we'll go ahead and get started. Hello out there. I hope this appears to be working as far as I know in TV land. So today we're here to recognize Caleb and his life and his accomplishment of finishing high school. And he's thrilled to be here. I can tell you that. He likes attention as much as I do, and but we're going to give it to him anyway, whether he likes it or not, because his parents are proud of him, whether he wants to admit it or not. There you go. Thank you for acknowledging our existence. So we're not going to be here super long. I'm going to kind of introduce you to Caleb's life a little bit. Mom wants to say something. Dad's going to say something. Okay, Caleb's going to say something, and not in that order. And then Caleb's going to say something. So Anyway, Caleb was welcomed into our world on March 30th, 2005 at approximately 2:45 Pacific time, right? Right. At Grays Harbor Hospital in Aberdeen, Washington. He showed up in the usual way, and I'm not sure how happy he was about it. But he was welcomed by his family and his church and his neighbors. Some of those, if you watch the slideshow, if you're watching online, it's on my YouTube channel. You can go look for it. Caleb, yes, there's a small bug. Caleb remained in Washington for approximately 10 months, then relocated to McLaughlin, South Dakota, where he had a lot of good experiences, including his first birthday cake, learning how to walk, an introduction to groups of kids in daycare, preschool, and a little sister, which at one time or another was okay. I'm not sure. Hi, Caleb. Among Caleb's favorite activities were pushing things like people and buttons and toys, daily walks to see the propane trucks and the anthill, running around the house with a laundry hamper on his head. And he also had his first chance to discover dinosaurs, primarily at the Grand River Museum in Lemon, South Dakota. At the time that Caleb was 5, he relocated again, this time to Venango, Nebraska, where he had many, many formative adventures. Caleb tried a lot of things as he grew up to become the young man that he is today. Some of those things he didn't especially love. T-ball, soccer, guitars, and school. But he also found many of his great joys, including scouting and running and taekwondo. It was also while living in Nebraska that Caleb got his first experience working hands-on with fossils. First at the Florissant Fossil Quarry in Florissant, Colorado, where he was able to find leaves, twigs, bugs, small fossils in layers of shale. Later in South Dakota, he went with Paleo Adventures to dig some dinosaurs and found a number of fossils there. In Nebraska, Caleb earned his first money by mowing grass, learned to ride his bike, learned how to drive, adopted a cat. He had the chance to run any number of races, but two interesting opportunities while he was there, two world-class distance runners, both ran through our town on their way from California to New York, setting cross-country time records. One for the men, one for the women. Caleb got to run alongside them briefly for part of their time. He enjoyed shooting people with Nerf guns and squirt guns and camping at the lake with his friends. For the most part, I think Caleb enjoyed his time in Nebraska, except for maybe school. Caleb grew in his spiritual life there too, choosing to publicly declare himself a follower of Jesus at his baptism, and frequently earning awards in Bible memorization at our Awana/Know Your Bible Club on Wednesdays. Caleb's life was again interrupted when he moved to North Dakota in 2022. With a change in location, Caleb had the opportunity to volunteer at the Fossil Prep Lab at the Dickinson Museum Center, Dickinson, North Dakota, where his work has been applauded. He has had the opportunity, and I quote now from the supervisor of the lab, he has had the opportunity to clean over a dozen bone elements that represent, I'm going to get this right, represent a new species of Brachylophosaurus. Did I say it right, Caleb? Yeah. Again, if you watch the slideshow, there's some pictures of Caleb with some of his work there. North Dakota is where Caleb turned 18, took his first college classes at Dickinson State University, freshman composition 1 and 2. And North Dakota is where he graduates from high school. So in the summer of 20 and 22, Caleb completed the requirements to obtain the Scout rank of Eagle Scout, completing a service project involving over 100 hours of preparation and work. Caleb's project was to design and build a veterans memorial in the Venango Community Park. The last step of this project occurred 2-3 weeks after Caleb moved to North Dakota. So he made an emergency run to Nebraska to finish everything up. Just highlights Caleb's dedication to completing the project and obtaining Eagle Scout rank. As well, there in Nebraska as a member, as a high school junior, Caleb served as a youth member, Perkins County Board, Foundation Board of Directors, and so was involved in leadership there. Past 4 years, Caleb has been studying via online classes through Whitmore School. He graduates with highest honors, having a cumulative grade point average of 3.9, with a weighted GPA for honors classes of 4.1. This includes honors classes in biology, chemistry, physics, trigonometry, pre-calculus, and English. He was inducted into the National Honor Society in his junior year. He completed volunteer service for the Venango Community Church, Venango Volunteer Fire Department, Perkins County Food Pantry, Dunn County Food Pantry, and the House of Manna and Dickinson. As well, an essay Caleb submitted has been selected for the best student writing for an English Composition 1 student at Dickinson State University for the 22-23 school year. So in addition to his work at the Fossil Lab this past year, Caleb will be spending 3 weeks in field work come June in Montana with the staff at Dickinson Museum Center and one, as far as I know, professor of biology from Dickinson State University. There he'll have the chance to learn more skills and gain experience as he begins his studies in the field of vertebrate paleontology. Right? Still vertebrate paleontology. You haven't changed your mind about that, have you? This fall, Caleb will begin his studies at South Dakota Mines in Rapid City, South Dakota, where he will be in the Accelerated Masters in Paleontology program, earning a Bachelor of Science in Geology and in 4 years, and a Master of Science in Paleontology in 1 year, so 5 years total for a master's degree. We, again, are very proud of his life and are glad to have had the opportunity to walk through it with his first 18 years. We look forward to what's coming. Caleb has agreed, after some not so subtle parental pressure, to give us a few words. So Caleb, why don't you come up and give us your few words, and we'll scooch aside and let you have your time, okay?
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming here to see me graduate. And it hasn't really even been a year that I've lived here, but it has been quite a year. While I've been here, I've finished things that I've been working on for a long time, and there are new things that I've started as well. Since coming here, like Dad said, I finished my Eagle Scout project. I've volunteered at the museum cleaning fossils. I've done classes at the college, and I've finished my time in high school. Even if I haven't been here that long compared to the rest of my high school time, it's still been a senior year that has been memorable. I've got more plans for this summer and for this fall, when I'll be going to a fossil expedition in Montana and when I'll be going to college in South Dakota. So this next year is going to be another one that will be filled with big changes and new experiences and it's good to finally move on from school and move into doing what I would actually like to be doing. So, thank you.
All right, so today I'm gonna share with you the top 5 things that I like about Caleb. First thing is, Caleb, you're very committed to doing what is right. And this has been something that's been important to Caleb pretty much all his life. When he was a toddler, we could not put blue lids on red sippy cups. Things had to be done properly. You put blue lids on blue sippy cups, etc. If we tried to sing songs to him in preschool and insert his name or change words to make it more personal, he let us know that's not how you do it. You sing the song the way it was written. Thank you. As he got older, there were times in public school where occasionally he would be asked to do things that we felt as Christians he shouldn't be doing, and he was willing to stand his ground even though we weren't there. And he told the teacher he wasn't going to do that. Even if the teacher told him he had to, he said no and didn't. So as a teen, we have noticed that Caleb spent a lot of time on his Boy Scout badges making sure that he actually did them correctly. Each badge has a very specific list of qualifications that you have to complete. There were times where Scout leader said, you don't need to do that, you've got enough. A lot of the other kids in the Scout group seemed to just kind of slide under the radar and just do enough, but Caleb never did that. He always made sure he finished every single thing that was required and honestly earned those badges. We are very proud of him for that. Second thing I like about Caleb is he influences others to do what's right as well. When he was in elementary school, there's a time he told us about where some kids had stolen somebody else's hat and were trying to throw it on the roof of the school. Caleb ran over, grabbed the hat, gave it back to the kid who wanted it. One of his teachers was going to have the kids in class do yoga, and he explained to her that in Eastern religions, a lot of times yoga is a religious practice and not really good, so she decided not to have the kids do it, and she went and talked to somebody she knew who had been in India, and they told her, yeah, sure enough, that's all a very religious practice over there. So your teacher told me she was glad that you knew that and that you taught her that. Number 3, I like the fact that Caleb teaches others, sometimes about God, sometimes about other things. In preschool, there was one time where the teacher told the kids some facts about porcupines, and Caleb came home very upset because he knew that what she taught the class wasn't correct. So he went and got one of his books about porcupines, and he took it to school the next day and read it to her and showed her, this is the truth about porcupines. Make sure she had it right. In kindergarten, he had a friend who didn't know how to read yet. So on the school bus each day, he would take a little Bible storybook and read it to this little boy so that he could learn about God. And his kindergarten teacher said that he was one of her little evangelists in the class. In elementary and junior high, he liked to create his own Bible trivia questions and email them to all of his grandparents, see if he could stump them or if he could get them to figure out something new. In the past, there's been times in the evenings where he's had me read him dinosaur books, books that are this thick that list facts about every single dinosaur name known to man. They would quiz me on them later to see if I had retained it all. So he had, I didn't always. And even times when people don't know how to use their phones or don't know how to use their camera, don't know how to use their computer, Caleb's very much so a go-to man. He can show you how it's done and is willing to do so. And that brings me to point number 4. I've seen many times, Caleb, when you were willing to help other people. Thinking about some of our dear friends back in Nebraska, people that we miss. One of them was Mrs. Bonnie Dodson, and she was very sad because she could no longer water her flowers, but her flowers were important to her. And Caleb would ride his bike to her house and water her flowers for her, help her out. He had helped Mrs. Echdal figure out how to work the copier at church. He helped Mrs. Grossman figure out how to work the VCR and the DVD player. And I just always appreciated that about you, Caleb. People could ask you for help and you would help them. So, and then point number 5 here. Okay, we like how you have a nifty sense of humor and a fun, mischievous streak. There was one time I walked into the bathroom back there in Nebraska, opened the cupboard to get out a towel, there was Gatorade, there was soup mix, there was all sorts of stuff from the kitchen sitting there in the cupboard because Caleb thought it would be pretty funny to put stuff from the kitchen into the bathroom just to play a prank. There's been many times where we've been sitting around as a family or with other folks and we'll be having a conversation and all of a sudden Caleb comes up with this short comment that just makes everybody pause. And then when they realize what you said, they just start laughing and laughing because he's just got this quirky sense of humor that just jumps out unexpectedly and people enjoy that. In 3 John verse 11, it says, I have no greater joy than to hear that my children are walking in the truth. And Caleb, we're proud of you. This is what you've chosen to do. We want to say thank you and we want to say we hope that you continue this on for the rest of your life, walking in God's truth, bringing honor to him, and just doing what would make us proud of you and make God proud even more. So we've got a little gift to give to you here that'll help you with that. And then if you want to come up, I've also got your t-shirt quotes. Finally done. I can show that to you too. There's this quiet one. And then if you want to help me hold on to this. You can take those down. There you go. That's right. And what would you do over here?
Yeah, get that on the screen.
So just kind of, oh yeah, kind of bring it this way so it gets on the screen.
This microphone.
What's
Little
the
bit.
cord? Yeah.
There we go. Okay. If you hold it out, there we go.
Good size.
And then turn it around on the back there so people can see the back of it too.
Oh, you got one. Oh,
We had too many t-shirts for just that. Yeah, so there you go. You can take that back to your seat with you.
Hold up
Is
the
it-
bottom a little bit higher.
Oh,
Just
sure.
at the bottom.
Other side.
Yeah, the other side right there.
Okay, so I'll take, if you turn it that way, hold it in the middle.
There you go. There
Just
we
kind
go.
of lift it up.
Thank you.
There you go.
There we go.
So
Thank you.
is the sweatshirt on it, one of your sweatshirts?
Yeah. So it's a t-shirt quote that shows a little snippet of every aspect of Caleb's life, pretty much from the time that he was born until he was 18, and just different places and people and different activities that were important to him.
Caleb, I think I stole some of your speech. Sorry. I should have asked you what you were going to say. So, sorry. All right. Well, Dad gets the last word, because dads are more important than everybody else, right? No? All right. So, Caleb, over the next several months before you head off to school, you'll be getting more advice than you know what to do with. But for today, just 3 things. Okay. Number 1, be yourself. Okay. Just be yourself. I know, who else am I going to be, right? But I offer you this advice knowing that there will be, as there have already been, people pushing you in directions that you don't want to go. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anybody who might see or might hear this, but I remember the baby bib that showed up at our house a couple weeks after you were born that had Future Village Missionary on it. And it was maybe a subtle pressure for you to walk in someone else's shoes, to walk down someone's path. And I know that some of my colleagues have invited you to Frontier School of the Bible repeatedly. Why don't you just go check that out, right? But you have stayed yourself and been your own guy. And I suspect that over the course of your life, in your chosen field, you will encounter those who would encourage you to walk away from your faith. And others would encourage you to, compromise. I encourage you to walk your own path, Caleb. Don't let anyone dissuade you from running the race that has been set before you. Caleb, be the quiet kid with the quick wit, who likes to sit in the back. Only when people notice or get to know you do they find out that you're quite funny. Be the one who thinks deeply and isn't afraid to do the hard things. Be the guy that runs around campus and down the streets of Rapid City, and then goes and picks up a science fiction book, even if somebody somewhere thinks that makes you a nerd. Don't forget where you come from. This is not North Dakota or South Dakota or Nebraska or even Washington, but from a group of regular people trying to do what's right and trying to make it through this world. Even Caleb, when you discover the next great dinosaur find out there in Montana, don't forget your roots. They're part of who you are. Don't forget that you are Caleb, a name that means wholehearted, loyal, and brave. For 18 years, that is what you have been. Keep being yourself. Secondly, Caleb, stand firm in your convictions. I can tell you, Caleb, in this world, there will always be temptations to compromise your convictions and people who want to help you do that. I have seen you stand firm before in those with those things that would and with those who would have you bend. Your Eagle Scout project, you know what I'm talking about, and you stood up for yourself and chose what you knew to be right. You sometimes corrected your father when he was wrong and needed correcting. 2 examples that come from knowing your convictions and being able to stand by them. As a student, you will have the opportunity to cut corners and cheat the system. As technology increases and we get artificial intelligence and all of those things, Skynet will be right around the corner. That's for you. But I've watched you work incredibly hard over these last years for your grades, your scholarships, your Eagle Scout rank, your volunteering, and the way that the people that you have volunteered for have commended you. And I would just encourage you to stand by your dedication to honest, hard work. You, Caleb, do not need GPT chat or whatever it is to write a good paper, okay? You'll be encouraged, and honestly, you'll be free to do so as well, to abuse your body by ingesting things you shouldn't. But you have learned to run, you learned to punch in a completely healthy way, of course, for all of you who are here on Sunday. And you have had the discipline to be healthy. Hold on to your discipline, Caleb. There will be other opportunities for you to compromise. In the Bible, there's a story of another Caleb who was sent by Moses to spy out the promised land. He returned with a conviction that since God was with the people of Israel, they could take the land that God had promised them. But Caleb, along with Joshua, were in the minority. Most of the spies said it couldn't be done, and the crowd followed them. But those 2 men did not go with the rest of the crowd or take the easy path. They stood up for what was right. And I hope that you, Caleb, will follow that, Caleb. And number 3, I would encourage you, Caleb, to never stop growing. When you were born, you were a relatively tiny object of about 20 inches long. You didn't talk. You didn't walk. You didn't do much of anything but lay there, sometimes with your tongue sticking out. But you grew. And this is where it's hard for parents. Because sometimes it's hard for parents to remember that you are not that tiny boy anymore. But you're a young man. You have grown in many ways. You've grown in stature. You've been taller than me for a long time. You've grown in knowledge. You've grown in understanding. Maybe, Caleb, you'll have another brief spurt of physical growth. Maybe you won't. But don't stop growing. Continue to grow in knowledge and understanding and wisdom and strength, faith and righteousness in your professional life, in your relational life, in your spiritual life, Caleb, grow. You have not yet peaked. Much more awaits you. For as long as I have known you, Caleb, you have been planning this one life career. To get your hands a little dirty, digging up dinosaurs. I can't remember you ever wanting to do anything differently, anything else. So I'm going to have you come up here, Caleb, because your mom and I, we want you to go and sit up here. We want you to chase that dream, Caleb, and we got you a little something to help you on your path to start. Okay, pull this out here, wrapped up in a towel, so you can't see it. There you go, Caleb. Break a rock. All right, stay here. We're going to pray with you just a little bit. Mom, you want to come up here and stand with Caleb? Come here. Make sure you're in the camera. All right, there you go. Lord God, Heavenly Father, we send Caleb off to the path and the race that you have set before him. We ask that you go with him, that you lead him and help him to continue to grow into the man that you want him to be. You know the plans that you have for him, where he will go, what he will do, what dinosaur he will find, what friends he will make, who he will be, and who he is. We trust him and his future into your hands as we say goodbye to high school and off to college and digging dinosaurs. Amen. All right, you can go sit down, mister. Oh, Mom's got some
Graduation tassel.
a graduation tassel on your dinosaur hat. So flip that over. Okay. All right. So thank you everybody for coming out. It's nice to see all of you. Hi out there. There are snacks downstairs. There are cake downstairs for those of you who are live and in person. If you're watching on the internet, you got to find your own snacks and cake. I'm sorry, we're not mailing that. We will restart the Caleb slideshow downstairs. So while you're going through the grabbing food and chatting with folks and whatever, it'll be there if you want to watch it on the TV. And for you folks online, just go to YouTube, search for my name. That video will be there. And then if you know anybody that wants to watch this service, it should be there as well once I get it put up. So thank you everybody for coming. Food downstairs, drinks downstairs, cake. The cake has bones in it. They're chocolate. It's all good. So please stay and enjoy Caleb. We told him he couldn't leave. He's got to stick around. Yeah. So thank you. And Caleb. Yay. Bye, everybody.